Twins.
Looks like.
Twins.
We'll find out.
Nishi, welcome to our second episode is Success Simple. So welcome. Like I mentioned to you through our conversations, we're going to dive into your journey, some challenges, wins, explore that. But I'm really thrilled to welcome you onto our podcast. I want to, I guess, give you a little bit of a welcome and prop you up for any of the viewers. So, from what I said, you're a seasoned software tester, agile evangelist, corporate trainer, community leader with over 13 years of experience. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Who, me or him?
But yeah, I'd love to, I guess, start just explore in terms of where you're at, give a little bit of an introduction to the people, and I think from there we probably just naturally go on from there if that's cool with you.
Okay, and where shall I start? Shall I start in 1967 when I was born in India?
I don't know if we have enough time for that.
All right, very quickly on that note, that I am a import into Australia. I'm a migrant, like a lot of people.
Yep.
And I come from the most populous country in the world, 1.5 billion Indians. And you'll find Indians all over the world now, actually. Yeah. The reason I came to Australia was basically because I fell in love with the country in 1987-88 when I came here as part of a tall ship Australia 1988 venture, where all the tall ships of the world came to Australia. Australia is and probably will continue to be a land of dreams in terms of making people welcome. Yeah. I think because nowhere in the world you can go to a country and be included in the community the way you are included in Australia.
Why do you think that is?
It's because we have been very welcoming to anybody and everybody. I mean, even when you see the original settlers who came from the UK, they were also migrants technically. So if they were migrants and I'm a migrant, they better welcome me, you know. Right. And I think all of us from overseas bring a lot of strength into this country, apart from, you know, what we call as a diverse culture and all that. No, that's not the only thing we bring. We bring food, we bring our own culture, we bring our own values. On arrival here in Australia in 2005, the first thing I told my kids who were 4 and 10, yes, imbibe the Australian culture, merge in the society, but don't forget the values you have brought with yourself from your country. And everybody should do that.
Yeah.
So my journey from 67 went on. I went into the Armed Forces of India, and I took premature retirement without taking pension to migrate to a land of my dreams because I fell in love with this country in 1987-88. I was made so welcome here when I met people who took us to their homes, invited us into their families. I'm still in touch with people I met in 1987-88 when we did not really have access to phones and internet and WhatsApp and all that. We had letters.
Yeah.
So that goes to show that how welcome we were made to feel when we just came as a cadet on a sailing ship. You know, they didn't need anything from us, but they gave us the warmth of a home.
Yeah.
One of those members I met in my life at that time has recently passed away. She was in Adelaide, the family, but I'm still in touch with their daughters.
That's awesome.
So those are memories which you can't forget easily. So on arrival here, as a naval officer who just left the service, I was willing to do anything and everything because I had literally burnt my bridges. I wouldn't be able to go back. The advantage I had was my wife. She's a very high level professional. She already had a job. By the time we arrived here, we followed her about a 9-month separation. And we had food on the table. We had a roof. And then from there, we started our lives from zero. We didn't have any relatives in Australia. We made new friends.
Yeah.
And so here I am after nearly 20 years this year, which is my running 20 years. I feel very comfortable being part of the society. And just yesterday, my uncle, who has been in Canada for the last 40 years, asked me, what do you feel about going back and living in India? I said, that's not happening. Even though my parents are there, I will be a misfit in that society. I will not have the honesty. I will not have anything and everything that I have outside my house. If I'm rich, I can build my empire inside my house.
Yeah.
But when you step outside the house, that's when you know which country you're living. Whether people obey rules, whether people have courtesies, whether people respect each other, whether people talk softly to you,
Yeah.
whether people don't interrupt you when you're talking to another person. You know, the basic things, these are lacking, and that social awareness is lacking. I think so.
It's interesting because when I first came out to Australia back in 2015, when I told people in England that I was going to Australia, I got a lot of people telling me that be wary. It's a very racist country.
Oh,
And yeah, and what's fascinating about that is that I've never, since being in Australia, I've never had any issues
racial abuse.
or racial abuse or anything like that. But in England, I did. So England, like, is it like from what I've experienced, I found it was quite racist in so many out here because of how many different cultures there are. There really isn't, and that's what I think is a very beautiful thing about Australia. Is because there's and there's so much culture in terms of like you look at like I'll give you an example like Middle East, like Lebanese, Turkish, Mari, your wife's background, the Serbian. There's if you go like to the older generation, there's a lot of them that don't speak much English that will speak their own
Language.
language. Yeah, and that I find fascinating because it shows you the community that they've been able to build out of their own country, and I think that contributes to the diversity.
I think I fully agree with you. But I also want to add here that just like you, being a migrant,
Yeah.
every migrant has a story.
Oh.
And there's rarely a migrant who's come here with a silver or golden spoon in his mouth. Every migrant literally comes here, starts from zero.
Yeah.
And there's a beautiful book which I'm reminded of saying, whatever I know at the top, I learned it at the bottom. It's very true here. And also on this topic, when you're talking about migrating to Australia, I think a very beautiful song has been created by the Tourism Australia recently. You really need to have a look at it. Their $130 million campaign or $30 million campaign to bring tourism to Australia. It's a very beautiful song. And
Right.
and the one song that touches a very, very it brings goosebumps is the Qantas theme song, I still call Australia home. Wherever I may go, but I still call. I tell you, that is my song, believe me. Wherever I might go back to India to meet my parents and my colleagues and my classmates, but I still call Australia home now.
Yeah.
For me, technically now India is not home. It may be always my home. My parents are there, but this is home.
Yeah.
Cannot dream about going back to India and
Yeah.
living there anymore. There's nothing wrong with India. Nothing wrong with India. Even if I was from US or Canada or where, I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't leave Australia.
So on that, like your background, the armed forces, so like discipline, hard work here. This is some of the traits I can imagine would have fostered through that time. How were you able to transfer that into your career when you landed in Australia?
That is an awesome question. And my first CEO answered that question already. When I was hired as the sales representative for a company based in Queensland,
Yeah.
manufacturing out of 4 states. And they hired me for who I was, right? And when I asked this question in the national conference, where I won a national award for the best, most improved sales territory, he said, Nishi, you came from an armed forces background. And for me, his name is Dr. Michael Stookman. I must take his name, actually. He is like Mr. Google. He knew everything. He could talk to you about any topic. Very, very intelligent person, right? And he said, Nishi, you were a wild card. I hired you because you were like a contracted killer. I knew if I tell you to do something, you would do it. And you would probably do it better than what I told you to do because you will put your own brain into it. So you were like a contracted soldier, right? You had the discipline. You had the attitude. You had the ability to communicate. You spoke good English. And the best part was you had the ability to relate to people. You went into any shop, you went into any distributor, and you were able to make those relationships going. And people loved you. They did a survey on me 1 year down the line without knowing. All of the sales reps were surveyed by a marketing agency quietly, silent survey. And in the national conference, I was picked and said, come here. The lady from Marketing Angels from Queensland called me and said, what did I do? She said, no, no, you come here. She gave me again, said, this is exactly what your customers feel about you. They love you. Why? Because you're available to them. When they need you, you pick up their phone, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, whatever. I'd come from that background. So I believe that the discipline, the ability to self-teach, that means the desire to learn, the desire to, I'm going to use this word now with the inverted commas, succeed. Now, why? Because you burnt your bridges. You can't go back. And you got to put food on the table. And you come from a background of having 22.5 years of service where a salary was assured. And if you died in war, you would still, your family would still be looked after. So naturally, you had that urge. And I see that urge in virtually every migrant who comes here, whether
You
it's a
think?
student, whether
Yeah,
it's anybody.
yeah. I was going to say, do you think it's tied to the fact of migrant? Because there's so many different ways I want to explore that with you, not just around obviously the success, but also sales as well. Because obviously, my background, Mario's background, has been in sales over 10 years each, and it's really interesting what you're touching on in terms of what foundation and skills you had now built a successful career in sales. I'd love to explore that with you to understand. Is it are those the key facets for anyone that's out there that's about starting sales? That's what they need to focus on. Do you know what I mean? Just stuff like that, because I've got my thoughts around that. But I'd love to hear more around. Is that what made the success, or is there other facets that contribute to being a success itself?
It's very interesting what you say because um, my CEO said, the first CEO I'm talking about, Dr. Michael, he said, you had zero knowledge about sales. You had zero knowledge about thermal insulation. You had zero knowledge about building industry. You had zero knowledge about anything and everything we wanted, other than the fact that you had the discipline. You were willing to get up. You wouldn't give up. You wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
And you would be able to talk to people and relate and do day in and out repetitively the same thing. Despite the fact that you would get knocked down, you would have the courage to get out on the street and go back on the road the next day, handle the objections. And we were introducing a new product in the market. That was even more tough, going and talking to a builder who is set in his ways. And I had no knowledge about that building industry, the shed industry where our maximum customers were. So when you talk about sales, I came from non-sales background, and I learned things along the way from some of the best people who were professionals. But just being a professional in your field technically doesn't make you a good salesperson. I think sales is one of the most challenging professions in the world, but it is probably sometimes not rewarded at different levels. Like, for example, if you people see people in software sales, their salaries are way higher than a person in the building industry. So it's a perception of person that, oh, he's just a salesperson or he's a sales rep. It's a title that sometimes goes against your name to get you foot on the door. If the same person wasn't a sales manager, he was the general manager of the company, surely he will find a foot into the door. So now people are coming out with different terminologies to refine that sales thing. Nobody wants to be sold. That's another thing.
Yeah. I was going to say,
They're so
why
intelligent.
do you think that is? Why do you think there's a negative connotation towards the sale?
I primarily believe that we, as a professional, also are to blame because we tend to get focused on that end result, which is the sale. And I have never focused on the end result to the detriment sometimes because then you're asked for your sales figures. I have focused on building the relationship.
Yeah.
I sell myself first. If you don't trust me, you don't like me. And there are
Never going to
two
buy.
very strong words here. Believe me, that is it for the whole salespeople. Like and trust. So let me ask this question actually. If you were to place like and trust in the correct order, which one would come first?
Like,
Thank you. If I
because
if I don't like you,
you're
if I
never
don't
going to
like you,
trust.
I don't even talk about trust with you.
Yeah, of course.
But if I like you, hey Nishi, come on, let's have a coffee, mate. Come on. Where have you been for last 3 months? I've been waiting for you. If you strike that relationship, cost isn't a factor. Cost isn't a factor. In my entire second job of 5.5 years with Canberra, there's a gentleman there who had from zero business to 100% business from him. In just 3 months, I had 100% business. All I went and did was say, I'm here. I'm the company. You don't worry about what has happened in the past. I'm here to take 10% of your business to start with. And I will service you. If I give you the service, you are happy. If you're happy, give me more orders. No problem. If you don't give me orders, no problem. Just try me out.
That's
That
simple, isn't it?
relationship went to a level where he took me to his home on the Maroons versus Blues day when he wanted to watch it with his family. He said, come, my wife is cooking. We go home. My daughter was with me. That was my last visit to meet that guy. So that relationship stays even till today.
Yep.
So the people I made the relationship with stayed with me even today, not because I was going to sell them the same product or a different product, or I went into a altogether different market. Why? Because I built relationships.
And on that,
And guess what? Keep getting these people referring business to me in whichever field I've gone and worked. That is a relationship.
yeah.
So if our salespeople focus on the relationship, sales will come.
Yep. It's interesting because I completely agree. I think sales is about effective communication. That's what it is.
Very true. Very
And
true.
and what I think why there is a negative connotation out is because there's so many sales people out there that will focus purely on the result and it be a detriment to, because I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't sell something, a service or a product to someone that does, and therefore that's where I think the negative connotation came from. But what I find interesting now is with AI evolving every industry, and especially sales as well, I think it's gonna revolutionize what a sales rep is. And what I mean by that, I'm really keen to hear your thoughts around it, is that it's going to be really focused on trust. So, like, and it's going to 10x it. So you're going to get the sales rep that have the ability to build trust very easily and very quickly, that are going to elevate to another level because they are going to utilize AI tools to get to that.
Correct.
And so forth. But there's going to be a large population of salesmen that will get past, I believe, because then they're not adapted. If you look back 10 years ago, how sales was communicated now, 10 years ago to now is complete.
Yes.
And so I guess the question in that is, what do you see coming with the technology advances and so forth for salespeople, and how can they adapt?
Okay. Go back 50 years from today. List the 100 top Fortune 500 companies. You can count on fingers how many are remaining. And the typical example, just one small example I'll give you. Kodak refused to change. The word is change, or reduce to adapt to the emerging technology, right? So many live examples today. Yeah. Why? Because the world is moving fast.
Yeah.
You and I could be on the dinosaur list. if we don't adapt. Yes, the human element is not going anywhere, believe me. How much AI you bring in, whatever you bring, that AI is basically going to refine the processes, the the speed with which this human is going to be able to react.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, you would get a phone call where the person has just pressed send the email and he say, "Hey, did you have you got an answer for me?"
Yeah.
Mate, I'm not sitting in front of a computer all the time to give you an answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So technology is going to change that. Now systems are going to be put into place that if an email comes in, before even the salesperson responds, your AI computer or your AI person is going to respond. And the client probably will think, oh, Nishi is really responding at 2 o'clock at night. What's going on? He's going to call me next day. What are you doing at 2 o'clock at night? Man, don't worry. That was my AI assistant.
Yeah.
Look at, okay, let me give you a live example. Look at eBay, right?
Mm.
Pioneers in what they did, right? Do you think they are right now number one in everything? Yes, maybe their reach, they're so big and they're so big everywhere. Look at the way, for example, this small company called Temu. You message them, within seconds they've got a response. You say I haven't received it, they've already processed your refund already within seconds. I'm seeing that difference. Why? They are using AI to the best of their ability, man. And below that, they always keep you the button. Would you like to talk to a human? They're telling you.
Yeah.
Our AI is so perfect. 99% it'll handle your inquiry. But if you still want our customer service guy to speak with you, press that button. And they are still there because they're taking away the workload and they can hire good people to handle those things. What I see changing is the way the processes will be handled and the speed of response is going to go up. It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Do you think?
But what I don't see is the good quality salesperson being removed from his job at all.
Correct. Yeah.
No
No,
chance.
I agree. I
No
think
chance.
they're gonna be like
Relation,
becoming gold dust.
relationships are not going to be made by AI models.
Do you
Relationships are
think?
going to be made by you and me.
Do you think though? Because there's still I still feel there's a lot of companies that are nervous about implementing AI in some facet. So I guess what do you think about that?
Education,
Yeah.
show it to them. Show them a model of a company responding to an inquiry without AI. Show them a real life online stuff of putting an inquiry in front of them to another company using AI. Look, it's very simple. What I see, I remember 99%. What I hear, I remember what I was. But what I what I can't see and what can't hear, I can't remember. So
Yeah.
I think it's companies like us who are getting into this side of things will will lead the way in educating people. I think education is the issue.
Mm.
People are not taking advantage. If you see on the Facebook, by any chance, if you go, I only go to Facebook for my notifications for people wishing people happy birthdays and wedding anniversaries. I don't see rest. All my Facebook feed is about animals because I'm passionate about animals, and I hardly follow anybody
Yeah.
because I want animal feed to me, and I watch animal videos most of the time. So, so if you see that, you will see that every time you go scroll, every few seconds you will see about somebody talking about AI not being used correctly by people.
Yeah.
Why? They are going out there already educating people. So they know that there is money in educating people. That's
Yeah.
where the money probably lies for training companies and educating their sales team that you will have to modify the way you approach solutions. I think solutions is the key word there. Don't sell products, sell solutions.
Yes. No, I
I
agree.
changed the mindset of a lot of companies when I said, what is this product you're talking about? It's not a product, it's a solution. And if I can solve your solution, maybe AI can't do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So the human element will remain. But yes, the effort should go into educating people.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's it's revolutionizing a lot of industries,
Yes.
and it's become a. I was having this conversation with a friend earlier on today, and I said to him, it's not a competitive advantage anymore to implement AI. It's becoming a competitive necessity.
Necessity.
Yeah, and it's and I think that's when that switch has come into place. It's a lot of businesses now are looking at ways to, and you see there's so many businesses talk about AI agents this, AI agents that, AI agents this, so forth. And it's about utilizing it in a way that's going to help your business solve a problem.
Yes,
There's no
exactly.
point implementing it for the
Exactly.
sake of it,
Exactly.
because it's at the end of the day, from a human interaction point of view, it may have an opposite effect,
Yes.
just depending on how you implement.
Correct.
And what's fascinating is like, I've had the fortunate experience working with tech teams on AI agents, and they're never going to be able to replace this.
No,
They're never going to be able to replace this.
I'm really glad you made this statement now, because something was coming to my mind, and that is when Tesla was bringing out the driverless car
Yeah.
10 years ago or 7 years ago, when they started talking about it, the first thing the media campaign said was 50% of drivers are going to be losing their jobs, right?
Yeah.
So this industry, that is the media, has a scare campaign for everything. Everything. They actually, what they say in a psychologist's word, it is called catastrophize. They catastrophize the situation and scare people. How many drivers lost their jobs so far? It's 10 years since Tesla came out with the first car.
Yep.
Or whenever,
Right.
I don't remember how many years, but how many drivers lost their jobs? Tell me. Is AI going to actually replace jobs? I really doubt that.
I
It's going to
think,
simplify your
yeah,
processes.
I think there's some jobs it can do. I think though if you go back generations,
Yes.
one thing that humans are fantastic at is adapting. So it's one of those massive milestones that we will adapt. We will be able to implement certain things to then once again thrive in that space. It's just the first initial phase, the same when the internet came across, is that there's this unconscious fear
Yes.
of something that we don't know too much about.
Exactly.
And that's where you mentioned about the education. I urge everyone I speak to, educate yourself about this, because this isn't going anywhere. This is going to stay. And you think about this from other tasks, like being on hold for half an hour trying to get a simple question answered through your bank or through your internet. It should never happen again.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And that for me, that's the excitement around those things. It's
Yes.
because it's like, great. And there's so many tasks from a sales process point of view that I look at, that if I can implement an AI system to automate that I don't have to look up, then it's going to
Yes.
optimize my performance, but it allows me to focus on my strength.
You will then also be able to utilize that extra resources in doing better in other areas. We have to look at it as a AI as a help towards improving our performance, rather than fearing AI taking away our jobs or sales jobs. How? It's not going to happen. Yes,
Yep.
maybe online sales experience will become better, which has happened. I can
Yeah.
see it already. And what you said, these online phone call systems might become better, because at the moment, if you get into that computer call, my goodness, you just put the phone down only, because you never get through till the time you keep pressing. And there was a hack on that also at one point of time. You would press star button many times, or a hash button many times, and then it would finally connect you to the
Yeah, but
human.
they've changed that now. Like it's yeah, we could spend endless
Yes.
of hours talking about
Yes.
some of the pain
Yes.
points around that.
Yes.
But Nishi, you've also, from what I understand as well, you've also coached and trained
Yes.
businesses as well, haven't you? So when you look at that and you talk about some of the, because it's interesting, I've coached as well when it comes to sales, and when you look at when you're coaching and training what's one of the biggest like challenges that individual or business to help them or go through that learning curve quicker rather than later?
Um, there is a subtle difference between the training and coaching you do in the armed forces versus the training and coaching you do in the civilian sector. And what I find is that when it comes to training and coaching, people who are willing to learn are the best performers, and people who think it is something they're forced to into, they don't enjoy. So
There's that resistance, isn't there?
the important aspect is like even today I do train architects and designers for in the field of acoustics. So one of the things which I do is I actually don't teach acoustics. I make them experience the difference between designing a good room versus a bad room. I make them experience the elements in a building which will create more noise versus less noise with simple
Why?
prompts.
Because I don't.
Because
I
because
want to
when
move on that. That's a
when
really
they
good. Really,
hear when they hear
yeah.
what impact that little piece of glass in the building is causing. How many times you walked into a new office and felt, wow, what a great office. Why? Because you first see,
Your
then
senses.
hear. The
Yeah.
speed of light is gazillion times faster than the speed of sound. That's
Correct.
why the sound gets to you later. And then when you start hearing the sound, then you start remembering your architect. Oh, bloody chap, what a bad room he has designed.
It's, I think this is what you're touching on is feeling. It's the feeling, and it's the same from what I'm hearing when I believe what you're suggesting when you're teaching someone is they learn quicker by feeling and understanding it instead of just
Demonstrating,
telling them.
demonstrating, touching, feeling
Yeah.
is a faster learning process, and making it interactive is even better. Letting them ask you questions and interrupting you is better, because I always say, interrupt me at any given time. You're not going to break my chain of thought because I'm passionate about it. You've got to have people who are passionate about doing what they're doing. The problem is a lot of people are in the sales job thinking, if nothing else, I will do some sales. Sorry, mate. It doesn't work like that. If
Mm.
you are passionate about sales, you will be doing a good job in sales. You're not going to do a good job if you're not passionate about what you're doing. And the most important question I ask people, what's your why? I borrowed it from Mr. Simon Sinek. If you can answer your why, okay, very simple. I think I did almost ask you why you're doing
Yes.
this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is your why? What
We
is your
spoke
why?
about it.
If your why is answered correctly, you will be doing amazing. How many people in this world go to work because they love their work or they love their bosses? Please answer. Percentage.
Not many.
Minuscule. And why do the other people go to work?
They use it as a tool to help them or a vehicle to help them achieve their why.
One, simply put. Second way to put it in a more abrupt manner is they go to work because of fear of losing their job. If they did not fear losing their job, they did not fear losing their livelihood, they did not fear retribution, why would they go to work? They'll get up in the morning, have their breakfast, go and play golf, right? Why would you go to work? You go to work if you're passionate, you're never at work. There's no doubt about that. If you're passionate about what you do, you're never at work. If you're passionate about sales, you're not selling. You're
No.
just having fun.
Yeah,
So
it's about helping people. I see it.
if you have that attitude that I am here to help them find their solutions,
Yeah.
you'll do very well, believe me. You always put yourself in the solution seat.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I've always done that. I'm lucky because I'm in a profession where I've been able to help people. And because of that help, I wrote an article on LinkedIn which is talking about help. Because
You
when you
mentioned
want
that
to
the
help
other day,
people,
didn't you?
you do not help people. You do not help people with the favor of expecting a favor back. You help people because you want to help people. So if you want to help your customers, you help them. If you get a sale on the way, fair enough, great, because you already helped them. So I think it's about passion. It's about enjoying what you do. Otherwise, change your role. Go do something else. Go do something else. So the success in training for me has been number one, knowing what you're talking about. You can't bullshit your way in an industry where you don't know what you're talking about. Know what you know. Know what you're talking about. Once you know what you're talking about, have the ability to have the confidence to speak publicly. That's another thing. If you don't have the confidence to deliver a talk, then you shouldn't be in that particular profession. Because you got to speak with people. You can't be an introvert. You got to have an extrovert.
You think that can be taught?
Yes, that definitely can be taught. You were not born introverts ever.
Yes.
Attitude is probably inherent.
Yeah.
Communication can be taught, and communication is everything.
Yeah.
The attitude, though, is actually everything because it is 100%. If you put alphabets on their position and number them in the order of A to Z, attitude adds up to 100%.
Yeah.
So attitude, communication, number two. And you got the best salesperson.
What keeps you so motivated? Obviously, with all your experience, what's the one thing that keeps you so motivated in doing what you do and to keep doing it every single day?
It's very interesting, and I almost thought that you were going to ask me this question. There are two elements to this actually. One is why. What is my why, right?
Which is?
So I can answer my why if you want specifically. What is my why? My why was very simple. At the current time, my parents are fully deaf. So I say to myself, had I known what I know about acoustics today, 30 years ago, I would have ensured my parents are not deaf. But because my parents are deaf, I'm going to try and ensure other people's parents don't go deaf and change the environment of acoustics for their lives better, make it better. So that was my passion in acoustics. In terms of energy levels, in terms of happiness, I think if you set out to be a person who's not chasing money, and God gives you sufficient to live a nice life, there is a certain basic amenities you need. So the presence of money is great. The absence of money can be painful, you know. So you have to ensure that you don't have absence of money, right? But money obviously doesn't buy anything and everything, particularly happiness. So somebody asked me in an interview, what is your end goal? So they thought I will say that I want to turn the company into 10 million, 20 million. I said, no, my goal is happiness across the board. If people who I work with can come to the office because of me saying, I'm getting up today because I'm going to go and meet Nishi, who is my manager, I've achieved it. I've made an environment as a boss where everybody wants to come to work. Of course, it is never going to be 100%, but across the board, if I can do that. So my energy level is high because I enjoy being around with people. I like to see happy faces. I always have a inventory of jokes to cheer them up. I think it's also got to do with my EQ level. I think IQ is God's gift. Your mother, dad put together give you your IQ. But EQ is something you can learn. You can train yourself to have a high EQ ability. I may be the worst listener as far as my good lady is concerned, which is what every wife says to her husband. You don't listen. But maybe I'm different outside because I do listen.
Yeah. It's interesting on that. It's like there's two types of listeners. Listen to reply as listening. I think too many people get stuck in listening to reply and start thinking about what they're going to say next mid sentence to the other person, and it's about, because it's something that can be trained. It's also being aware during when it happens, and then being actually, let's stay present, listen and hear, understand what this individual is saying. That's where you're able to build that connection,
Relationship.
understand that.
Yes.
And do you know what? I have to ask this question because I've been dying ever since we spoke. Where does groovy?
Where the word groovy comes from?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was not known as much in India as groovy because in India, because of the ranks and because of everything, your last name is the more preferred name they use.
Okay.
Commander Grover, Lieutenant Grover, or whatever. That's how in the Navy. Or in the civilian world in India, it's always Mr. Grover. They talk to you with respect. So they don't take your first name. You never take your parents' first name, like that. It's like kind of societal. So my name Grover, first of all, came from the Britishers because my parents' name was Godewadas, which were the horsemen, basically, who reared horses for the kingsmen, and the kingsmen gave them the land they lived. But Godewada is very difficult. The horseman Godewada was very difficult for the British. So they found the nearest name, British name was Grover. So I get asked sometimes, "Oh, are you from the UK?" No, I said, no, I'm from India. So that was one thing. But then when I came to Australia, Australia has this knick-knack names, everybody's got a short name. Oh, Nishi. And my full name is Nishi Kant Grover. Nishi and Kant are two words, but they have one meaning. Nishikant is a meaning. It says, basically means something that throws light in the darkness. So mythologically speaking, I'm the moon of the family. But Grover was something which, because I went into the acoustics industry, people just started calling groovy, and I liked it. So yeah, that's a unique, catchy name, and I keep it. So I proudly say, call me groovy, mate. Like in Australia, it's like, everybody's got a pet name.
Yeah. Yeah. But groovy, I like
So
it.
that's how it came. That's how it came.
That's awesome.
It stuck with me for a very long time now.
Yeah. I like it because I've seen the text back and forth and groovy. And I said, you know what? I don't remember to ask for it because I can imagine that.
And it is more personal as well.
Yes.
It's about relationships, as you said. So if right at the beginning you introduce yourself, hey, my name is Nishi, but you can call me Groovy.
Yeah. It breaks the ice.
It breaks the ice. It gets you chatting. It can get you into a conversation. Groovy, huh? What's a very nice name? Groovy, as it is a groovy, like people think. And then on top of it is acoustics, So.
Well, Nishi, I want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
What derived?
Sorry, you cut out in the last part.
Sorry, I was saying there's one question that I want to ask you to wrap this up. And it's what's driving this whole podcast. You've coached teams, you've been in sales for many years, you've been in the military. In your view and in your eyes, is success simple?
First of all, if anything that is simple, it's not worth doing, mate.
Okay.
Right? And simple is a relative word. Success is also a relative word. I think we briefly touched upon it.
We did.
So what is success? Success is a dog gunning for a treat, and he's got it, he's successful, right?
Yeah.
And success is also Elon Musk launching his rocket successfully. That is also success. Donald Trump becoming president for the second time is success.
Mm.
But for somebody else, success may be very differently defined. Happiness is also very differently defined. Success is what you make out of it.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, the world's best ever, greatest.
I agree.
What does he say? Talk about success. I'm a success because I failed maximum number of times. For every basket I scored, I
missed thousands and thousands. Yeah.
So that is why I think success is cannot be easily defined. It is a very relative word, person to person. What I got to say to people out there who want to be a success is, don't quit. It's your resilience. And some beautiful words have been said very long ago by somebody. I think Mrs. Angelo, she said success is not final. Failure, never fatal. It's the courage that counts. And that courage she's talking about is getting up and walking again when you fall. So that is one part of success. And that is what kind of I use it as my mantra. Very early on in my life, my father put me onto books. And what books I read? Read books of successful people. My first book, I still remember, was by the guy called, he wrote a book. His autobiography was called I'm the Greatest. Have you heard of them? Muhammad
Muhammad
Ali's.
Ali.
And the second book I read was Martina Navratilova's Gift book.
Right.
So my father put me onto these great people who were successful, right? And I read some of those things. And even today, I remember some part of Muhammad Ali's life story. Cassius Clay was his name.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. So success is something which you define for yourself. You don't let the world decide whether you're successful or you're not successful. You don't let your parents decide whether you're successful or you're not successful. You decide for yourself how you determine with how successful you are.
Mm.
The world defines success by many different ways. What car you drive, they're very judgmental. What house you live in, what clothes you wear. No. That's not success to me. So that's one part. What was the other part you asked me? Sorry?
Is it simple?
Is it simple? It is you who makes it hard or simple. Success is all about repetition. Michael Jordan hitting 20 times and getting one right? It's about repetitiveness, right? Success is about repetitiveness. So what is light or what is darkness? Light and darkness are two same things actually. One is absence of the other, and one is the presence of the other. Same. Success is the absence of failure after you do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So I think that
you believe that you to get any form of success,
you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it and you put your body to it.
Yeah.
And happy are those who dream dreams because only they have the ability to make them come true. If you're willing to put
100%.
If you're willing to put towards your success what you have in your mind, 1 extra hour every night, you will get there, man. You will get there. If you're willing to put that little bit of extra pumping in your body to finish that cross country 1 minute faster every third day, in the end, you will get a gold medal.
And I want to add to that. This is like, that's people's gift. Whatever you dream of, that is your gift. And I think the biggest, the saddest thing is that having a gift you were given to you by God and never had the courage to pursue it.
Great.
And I think that's something that what you're referring to in terms of success. Like, yes, we know that it's down to what you judge it on, but it's a fascinating concept that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. I think most people talk about it if they have massive success. They don't hear too many people talking about it that on their journey. I guess that's where we're trying to.
I think my message to people who are bringing up young offsprings now is to teach them how to dream, is not to force them to go to the path treaded by everybody. Take the path treaded by less. We don't teach our children in schools to become entrepreneurs, do we? Yet there could be so many beautiful entrepreneurs coming out because if they did get the chance, they would be an entrepreneur today. So it's the same thing. Give them the opportunity. So that's where success comes, basically.
Really, been absolutely wonderful. It really has.
Lovely speaking with you guys.
Yeah,
wonderful speaking with you guys.
I think it. I said.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. By the way,
no, you're. Thank you for gracing us with your presence because it's funny. I said to Mario before. I said I have no idea where this will go, and I'm so cool. Let's just flow with it and see where it goes, and hopefully for the listeners that there's so many nuggets in there that people can take and hopefully help them, guide them through their life as well. Because as we spoke about initially, like so many people are hurting and think there's so much that we spoke about today that is hopefully help the next person. Thank you.
And I really feel honored to be here with you guys today. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from you all as well. Thank you so much. God bless
I really
you all.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have
Thank you.
a great day.
Thank
Take
you.
care, Nishi.
Thank
Cheers.
you very
Bye-bye.
much, Nishi.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.